Welcome to Chokeholds Chill, where the arm bars are tight and the conversations are deep.
We're Jen and Mel, two women navigating life, mat burn, and the wild world of Jiu-Jitsu, one episode at a time.
From white belts to black, trauma to triumph, we bring you the real stories from the people who roll through it all.
So tighten your belt, take a breath, and let's get into it. Okay. Cool. All right, so welcome back to Chokeholds Chill. We have a very special guest today who's doing something pretty unique in the Jiu-Jitsu world. She is the founder of Mil Usos, a skincare company built specifically for grapplers.
She's also super passionate about talking women's issues in Jiu-Jitsu, the good, the bad, and the stuff that doesn't always get enough airtime, in my opinion. We're talking everything from gym culture to pay, visibility, and that super awkward tension with the beauty standards of being in a sport where you're literally sweating, bleeding, and fighting people.
So basically, how do we, as women, navigate jiu-jitsu when it's such a male-dominated space, and what it means to embrace or completely reject traditional beauty culture while doing it? So you got some good takes, and we are here for it. So let's get into it.
Please welcome Becky Williams.
Yeah.
Hi, Becky.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So to start, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in the Los Angeles area. It's a very big area, so it's easier to say the Los Angeles area of Southern California. I started training jiu-jitsu in 2014, and I got into it actually as the result of having experienced some domestic violence with a previous partner of mine. I was living in the mountains of Peru with him. He was Peruvian, and there was definitely some personality disorders, maybe some bipolar, drug use, a lot of stuff that I wasn't aware of going on. And he would just become a crazy, violent monster. And I thought I was going to die out there. I know I talk about it very casually right now. It's because it was a long time ago.
Right.
But, and when I had to plan an escape back to the U.S. again. And when I came back here, I was like, I don't ever want to feel that vulnerable again. I don't want to ever be that terrified again. And I found some old Gracie Challenge videos on YouTube. It must have been with Hickson, but I don't actually know who was in them. But the ones where he would go to like the dojos.
Yeah.
And they would, they were pretty humiliating, like from like the perspective of like the dojo. He would just be standing there like all cool and calm and collected. And then the other guys would be like showing off their flexibility or like screaming or like, you know, trying to do these intimidation factors. And he would get them on the ground in like 20 seconds and just be like slapping them. And I was like, they're like old school videos. And I was like, yeah, sign me up. That sounds good.
That's so perfect. So what kept you there?
Honestly, just the experience of almost a feeling like I almost didn't survive that domestic violence. I would, unfortunately, I would say like some PTSD type panic kept me going in jiu-jitsu. I have to be honest, I have a pretty like love-hate relationship with it. I've just had a really hard time finding the right school, finding the right professors. There's been all kinds of weird drama in that arena. So just like pure grit and just not wanting to feel super vulnerable. But lately, it's actually been the community that I have found while launching Mil Usos.
Yeah.
I finally have been able to make a switch for my motivation to just be like connecting with more people, branching out. The women's community in Jiu-Jitsu now is totally different from when I started in 2014 in the sense that there actually is a women's community.
Right.
So
not just a few women.
Yeah. And like women are connection machines, man, like networking, connecting, like I'm here for it. there's
Yeah.
so many more ways now to connect with women, whether it's like a seminar or a women's only open mat or a camp, like all these cool things that I didn't have in the beginning. So now I'm like kind of here for that because
Yeah.
it's been super fun and satisfying, like very emotionally satisfying to connect with so many cool women who
Mhm.
are really doing jujitsu for like the right reasons, like very collaborative reasons. So
Yeah.
that's been kind of my own little transformation journey.
Yeah, so I think that unfortunately, like stories similar to yours is why a lot of women get into jujitsu or learning self-defense. But
Yeah.
whatever brings you in, I think it's super important, and it does take grit and motivation to stick with it. Before we talk more about Mil Usos, so outside of jujitsu and your skincare brand, who are you? What are your hobbies and passions, and what's life like outside of those things?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I was like a totally different person before jujitsu. I always joke to my husband, whom I met in jujitsu, by the way. I
Nice.
always,
I love
I
that.
always joke to him that jujitsu was the worst thing for my personality because it made me so much more like outspoken and empowered in the sense that I'm just so much less intimidated
Mm-hmm.
um, than I used to be. But I actually inhabited like a very different world before jujitsu. Um, I was a pole dance instructor at like a little boutique dance studio.
Fuck yeah.
That just
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, that was like back in 2011, 2010, 2011 when pole dancing was still uh like this cheeky
Yes.
kind of like it wasn't as broad as it is now.
No, it was
Um,
the Playboy girl days.
Yeah, well, I mean, luckily the studio that I trained at was more about exploring your own sensuality. When I say sensuality, I mean like the five senses. So just
Nice.
like kind of an embodied way of moving. And there were, like, for example, there were no mirrors in the studio because they didn't want you to focus on what you looked like. Like if you looked sexy enough or anything, they wanted you to like close your eyes and just focus on what you felt like in your body. And
Oh,
that
I
was
like that.
Interesting.
yeah. So it was like I was blessed in that it was a very women centric pole dance space. It wasn't like be sexy for your man or be sexy for outside viewers. It was more just come into your body
Mm-hmm.
and move how your body like intuitively wants to in the form of dance. And so when I came into jujitsu, man, it felt like having a split personality because I went like it was so hard because I went from this very internal dance space, soft space, um, dance space into like this masculine, hard, like, and when I say hard, I mean like hard edge, like getting thrown on the mat and like
Yeah.
getting choked,
I
like
burn
getting
out.
stabbed. So that actually, like, trying to inhabit both of those spaces in my own psyche was really hard for like the first 5 or 6 years, which is kind of a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really hard to be in, to try and be both of those people because they were both me, right? Like,
Right.
how do one really takes me out of the other. So
Yeah. That had to be a big challenge for you.
yeah, it was.
How did
Honestly,
you
I
move
think
past it?
going to therapy.
There you go.
Seriously, why not? Right?
Powerful.
Yeah.
Do you feel
Yeah.
like doing like the pole dancing, do you feel like that gave you kind of a leg up a little bit because you're already so in tune with your body?
No, zero.
Okay.
I've heard people that maybe that's just me, but I've heard people say like, "Oh, dancers do really well in jujitsu."
No, they
And
don't. You lie.
yeah, no,
It's
I
not
do
the
not
same
relate.
movement.
not the same thing. I
No.
cannot relate to that. If there are dancers who do well in jiu-jitsu, God bless them, but I'm not one of them.
It's not coming from dance. I've tried. It might look real pretty. My jiu-jitsu is beautiful, but it took a long time for me to be like, oh, I have to be on someone, not holding my weight off of someone. You know, you carry yourself a certain type of way. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So let's shift into your company.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm really excited, yeah, because I know Jen's been using your product for a while. I started using it recently and I love it. So how did it start?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so skincare has always been something that I've loved on my own. I started reading up on ingredients and learning about ingredients when I was still in high school.
Nice.
And I've been keeping up with it ever since. And just over time, I developed a lot of opinions about it and couldn't understand, like, there were solutions that seemed so obvious to me. For example, power of like plant oils, like our balm is completely oil based, and yet like the oils that I would see would either be just like super cheap sunflower seed oil
Right.
with like a small amount of specialty oils blended in, or I think sea buckthorn berry oil is really important. That's what makes our Total Anarchy balm the yellow color.
Mm-hmm.
And like not it it's actually kind of hard to find that in a high enough concentration that the product turns that bright yellow color, which is really the minimum concentration you want. So just kind of judging the skincare industry on its own, being like, just thinking to myself, these answers are really obvious. There's a lot of research for all these things, and people just aren't using them. The reason why, by the way, is just because those are very expensive ingredients.
Right.
And include them in high amounts is expensive. But then also, like, this, if you want to call it skincare, I wouldn't call it skincare, but these skin options,
Right.
like so many soaps. It's all just soaps with essential oils. Obviously, there's big brands, but even like tea companies are trying to cash in by like selling their version of like tea tree oil soap. And sure, those products are going to work for people who have like bulletproof skin. Like how some of us just have like really good hair.
Right.
Some of us, yeah, some of us have really good skin. And if you're one of those people, yeah, you can use those soaps and get away with it and you'll be fine. But if you have sensitive skin, if you have reactive skin, and by the way, a lot of people don't have skin problems and then they start jiu-jitsu and they have crazy skin problems that they never thought possible. You can't use those essential oil soaps. They're so irritating. They're so drying. But because they're being marketed to jiu-jitsu people, jiu-jitsu athletes think like, I should be able to use this.
Right.
This is what I need to use to keep my skin healthy and safe. And when their skin reacts badly, they blame their skin instead of blaming the super cheap, like mass-produced, irritating product that they're using on their skin. And so to me, I was like, how is nobody creating actual skincare for jiu-jitsu athletes? Like this, it seemed really obvious to me that there was a hole there for like high quality stuff that's actually going to heal your skin and give people with sensitive skin, like give them their skin back.
Right.
Yeah.
In a recognizable way, like just helping some of those issues that they have from jiu-jitsu or that are made worse by jiu-jitsu. So intuitively, it just felt like the next step. I don't know, it just felt like something that needed to be created.
Well, thank goodness you did.
Yeah. I can personally attest to, I am one of the lucky people who all growing up and everything, like I never had the awkward like acne phase. I always had pretty nice skin. I'm very lucky that way. But I started jiu-jitsu in my 30s, and those first couple years I'm like, am I going through fucking puberty? Like because I still had my same like routine as far as how I like took care of my skin, washed my face, whatever. but obviously I'm doing very different things than I used to do. So I went through this whole thing where I was like, fuck, I need to get a dermatologist.
Yeah.
I went to a dermatologist and I went on these different ointments that it was like, well, it's probably going to make your skin worse before it makes it better.
And who wants that?
And like, but I mean, I did it. I went through the whole process and it fucking sucked. And now I'm like, man, I wish I had your product back then.
Oh my God.
But now,
that works.
yeah. So, but like, so I just think that it's so awesome that there is this option. What year did you get started?
We started we launched in 2023,
Mhm.
but when we launched just as like a general athlete brand.
Mm.
So I was like different athletic pursuits, even though as a jiu-jitsu athlete myself, I formulated everything from that perspective.
Right.
All the formulas are proprietary. So like a lot of these soap brands, for example, they're not actually making their own stuff. They're going to a manufacturer that already makes stuff, and they say just sprinkle in some like peppermint oil, and then make it, mass produce it for us, and we'll package it up and sell it. But all of our stuff is completely proprietary. We work with chemists, we work with formulators to come up with products that are truly unique that you can't find elsewhere. Because I just felt like there's already so much cheap skincare out there.
Right.
Like I don't need to make more of that. Like if I'm gonna make something, it's gonna be unique, it's gonna be helpful, I'm gonna be proud of it. So that's our process.
Right.
But yeah, what was the question?
No, I just asked when you got this started, and so
Okay.
like kind of in 2023, which is
so funny.
of course I went through my skin issues before you launched, so this is really your fault. No, I'm just kidding.
Gosh, Becky,
I'll accept that. That's fine.
No, I'm glad that it exists now, and I'm glad that people that are going to be newer to grappling who have to go through that horrible experience, like we can be like, dude, you need to try this product because it's a game changer for sure. Is there a particular product of yours that you're especially proud of or that is your favorite?
My favorite one is the Total Cranarchy Balm, and it's just because it's kind of like my fantasy skincare moisturizer.
Yes.
When I made it, I was like, okay, what would happen if I just took the best of everything, water-free, so there's super concentrated, and because there's no water in it, we could also eliminate all of the preservatives.
Yeah.
And also fragrance-free. That was really important to me because that's actually really hard to find in skincare. It's hard to find fragrance-free. A lot of people don't know this, but even something that's unscented, it's not the same as fragrance-free. Unscented products actually contain fragrance. They're like masking fragrances or just like very kind of like bland fragrances. So like no essential oils, fragrance-free, all the best stuff. Like what would happen if I just made a product like that and not worry about like how expensive the ingredients are? Because that's a big concern when you're trying to create a product for the market. I mean, our products are priced above like those soap brands by quite a bit, but as soon as you use it, you're like, oh yeah, this is
you get what you pay for,
and then some.
Yeah, like you figure it out pretty quick. Like, oh, this is not the thing. And so that the balm is my favorite just because it's just so many heavy hitting ingredients in such a concentrated form. I feel like I use it at night mostly, and then that's all I need is like one application for 24 hours. And that's the only thing I use.
I love it. It's every morning I use it. I'll get home from jiu-jitsu, use it before I go to work, and like I like notice a difference in my skin. Like it just feels softer and nicer, and
well, mine finally cleared up. I'm like halfway through my first tube, which is the best, but I got punched in the face last night
by her husband.
By my husband. He goes, let me try clubbing real quick. And then just right hooked me. And I was like, yeah, that's not clubbing. Let me help you. So I had like this nice scrape across my lip. And I put the Total Cranarchy on last night before I went to bed. And it took all the swelling out, first of all. Then it clotted everything. And then it like pulled it all to the surface. And when I put it on this morning, it just like pulled everything out of it.
Yeah.
And now I just have like this flat little like, no big deal.
Yeah, she still looks cute.
I know. But honestly, I'm a nerd. I use it for everything. I'm like, I feel like an infomercial or like a QVC person, but it's seriously, it's great. I forced my husband to use it on vacation.
Yeah, that's what it's designed for. Like, especially on vacation, it's great for sunburn. It will literally take away the redness like overnight. Yeah. It's just really concentrated and really powerful.
Yeah.
I would put it on my new tattoos too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
that would be great for that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, we love to see women in business and women like doing their thing. And obviously like skincare is usually marketed towards women, but I think that it's like very clear that your product is meant for everybody.
Everybody.
So that was actually a deliberate decision that I made because of my time in jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's more men than women that train jiu-jitsu at most schools. And so I've met so many wonderful men. Like I said, I met my husband in jiu-jitsu, but just so many other men and, teenage boys. Mm-hmm. And you can see them struggling with their skin and they don't know where to go. Like they don't have options. And so I wanted to include them. I also just don't believe in gendered skincare. I think that's stupid. Right. Like I don't think it doesn't have anything to do with like our political climate. I just think that sometimes like capitalism just over complicates things just to make you feel like you need something. And like you said, most skincare is already marketed towards women exclusively. Mm-hmm. And so I just didn't want to do that. Skincare should be good enough to work on everybody's skin. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason why everything is fragrance free. The packaging is like really kind of neutral. The colors are like blue and kind of like a yellow lime green color. The aluminum tube is just plain aluminum. Like everything just kind of, I tried to get it like right down the middle as much as possible. Actually, when I was picking the colors, I thought about like what would my husband like, what kind of colors would he be drawn to?
Right.
And so like all the like overly feminine kind of stuff that we're using in skincare, I just reject it. I think it makes women feel like they need to be doing a whole bunch of extra stuff that they actually don't need to be doing. Their skin doesn't need it. Their pockets, their like wallet, their bank accounts don't need it. Why are we playing these games? I don't agree with them. So that was a really deliberate decision in the brand, was like, okay, we're just going to make everything kind of not lean either direction. Now we do work with a lot of female jiu-jitsu athletes, and that's just because we're new, and it's so much easier to start up a conversation with the female athletes about skincare because most of them are already using it. Mm-hmm. I would say like 40 to 50% of our customers are men.
Love that.
We've started to get some inquiries from higher level male athletes wanting to partner with us. So
Great.
In the future,
so cool.
So in the future, there will be like more men involved with the brand. But I'm kind of letting that develop organically over time with people who are just like naturally interested in it. So but not gendering the skincare was an important thing to me.
So you mentioned, we talked a little bit about this via text and then also in this conversation about being really anti-beauty culture. What does that mean for you? Because I think a lot of people might be on the fence of like what anti-beauty culture actually is. So what do you say that is?
I mean, I've thought about this a lot as a woman who consumes obviously like pop culture, beauty culture. I think that there's almost like so much to say about it that I have to like narrow down. It's hard to like funnel it all into like one central idea. But basically, the long story short is that women, like if you were to ask a woman how much money she spends, like the average woman, maybe not a jiu-jitsu woman, but maybe, but like the average woman, how much money she spends on things like skincare, manicures, hair appointments, like hair dye, you know, different looks. Her fashion's a little bit different, but you know, maybe some like spa appointments, esthetician appointments, specialty skincare like face masks and stuff like that. Then you have your morning skincare routine, your evening skincare routine, and then all of your makeup. Dude, it's fucking ridiculous. The amount of resources. And I don't just mean like the money to buy it, but you know, to earn that money, you had to work certain hours. So like you're exchanging a certain amount of your life to purchase those products, and then the amount of time to use them every day, and then like a lot of people don't even finish a product completely before they buy a new one
because they don't work.
Yes, they don't work. Some new thing has come out that convinces you it's the solution you've always been looking for, and it really like you could be doing anything else with your time. Anything else. You could be living your actual life. And so in order to like sell women all of that stuff, you have to sell women you have to make them think of this fantasy version of themselves that would finally be loved and adored and appreciated the way they've always wanted to. Like when you think of like when you think of a product, you're not just thinking of the product, you're thinking of like, oh my God, if I just looked this certain way, or if I could just, you know, like with makeup, maybe if I could just pull off this certain look and look the way this YouTuber did, or, you know, whatever, or if my hair could just look that way, then like people would finally see me, you know, like they would finally value me. Maybe I'd get some compliments, like maybe I'd get attention that makes me feel like a more worthy, right? And but the truth is that like all of that manipulation is a manipulation to like sell you stuff. And the worth that you have, it's there regardless of like your hair color or whatever makeup look you've put together. And this isn't to shame anybody who like participates in these things. It's just for me, I could link back kind of like this what I'm being sold to like what it's the insecurity that it's really tapping into. And I just rejected it. I just and none of it's true, by the way. Like my husband, my friends, they love me just as much. Like whether I'm wearing makeup or not, you know, like those are the kinds of people you want in your life. I started going gray. My hair started going gray at 22, and it has accelerated a lot ever since I launched this brand, not gonna lie.
But it's so pretty though. I think your hair is gorgeous.
You know what's funny is like whenever you see a perceived flaw on another person, like so if I were to see somebody else going gray, I would think it looks really good on them. But then when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, I don't
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's how we're conditioned.
Damn it.
Yeah. No,
but actually like other people are looking at you the way you're looking at them. Like what you just said to me. Other people have said that to me, even though I haven't, like, obviously I choose to not diet. Like I choose to face this, like my mortality and my limitations as a human being in the mirror every single day. But there's still a part of me that like kind of knee jerks against that. Right. But like, you know, if you see other people that way, why, like if you see the best in other people, why wouldn't they see the best in you? You know, like why do we just assume the worst about ourselves?
Oh, it's terrible.
And that's, I think, so much of beauty culture. And
Absolutely.
and it's only getting worse. I know like couple of my nieces are 9 and 10, and And like for fun, they're doing their pretend like influencer videos and get ready with me and doing their makeup. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's super cute, but that's what they're growing up seeing.
Right.
Because that's just like the norm. And it's just I'm very much like it's hard, but do you feel like jiu-jitsu helped give you the power to kind of like divorce yourself from beauty pressures and beauty culture?
From some things, definitely yes.
Mhm.
So, like, I always hated having to paint my nails. I
Me
always
too.
thought
I hate it.
I know I know some women love it.
Oh,
But I never enjoyed it, yet always felt the pressure to do it, kind of like it was a basic female thing
Yes.
that I had to do to look presentable. And um when I started jujitsu, it became really obvious that unless I was willing to invest in gels, which I was not willing to do, nothing, like no nail polish was going to survive a single session on the mat.
Total waste of
And
money.
completely. And so I was like so happy to finally have an excuse to be like, I'm never doing my nails again because I train jujitsu, so I can't.
it's perfect.
And then it also forced me to kind of divorce myself from makeup because
Mm-hmm.
like I would go to work and then train at night. So I'd want to wear makeup at work and then go train at night, but then like I'd have to be washing my face before class or else my makeup's going to get everywhere.
Right.
And I was like, this is just so much more work than I need to do. Like, this is annoying. I don't want to have to worry about this. So then I just stopped wearing makeup.
Yeah.
And that, like, if you get used to seeing your face a certain way in the mirror, like, I have really dark circles under my eyes. It's genetic. If you look at pictures of, like, my grandma on my dad's side, she has these crazy dark circles under her eyes. It's just like an Irish British thing. And so I would always cover them up. And then, like, you get used to seeing your eyelashes with mascara or whatever. You get this weird face dysmorphia where, like, it feels really vulnerable and really scary to walk out of the house without all of these, like, prosthetic face enhancements, like, if you want to think of them that way. And so I was just kind of like, you know what if I just did it? Like, what if I got used to seeing my face in like an unnatural state with all of these makeup enhancements, then I should be able to get used to it just in its normal state again. Like, it should work the other direction too. And so, and like, none of this is a straight line, by the way, to any of the women who are kind of like playing around with these ideas. Like, I would go like cold turkey, no makeup for like 2 months and then be like, oh my God, I need something. And then would like, go buy a mascara tube again and then wear mascara again for like 2 weeks and then be like, oh yeah, I hate mascara. And then go like, go cold turkey again. I mean, because what you're divorcing yourself from is really the concept of woman, the work that you are told it is to be a woman in this society, the bare bones basic things that you might have learned from your own mother about what you need to do to show up in the world as a woman. It's a big project to undergo to really, really, really divorce yourself from it. So
Yeah.
I have so much compassion for that journey. It's hard because really what you're doing is swimming upstream against everything flying at you. And you were talking about those YouTube videos. And first of all, they're super fun to watch.
They are, yeah.
They're fun. They're addicting to watch. I will say this, though, because many a time I have watched a makeup tutorial and been like, oh my God, I need that product. Like, did you not just see how that product, like, completely transformed her face?
Yeah.
Did you not see that? Like, that was amazing. I need that product. But here's the thing. Like, the way you look on a screen and the way that makeup looks in real life are two very different things. On a screen, it's kind of like stage makeup. So I did ballet growing up. And when we would do our dance recitals, we would have stage makeup and we would have false eyelashes, like super heavy makeup, bright red lips, blah, blah, blah. And the reason is because from the stage, you need to have all of those features like mega enhanced, or you can't really see them because the audience is sitting like dozens of feet away from you, and the lights are really bright, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing for screens.
Yep.
That's stage makeup. But the way, if you were standing there looking at that person, you know, sitting 2 or 3 feet away from you, what you would actually see is like all the cakiness. You would see it settling into like all the lines. You would see where the false eyelashes kind of detach. The proportions would look really weird to you in person.
Yep.
Like it would look very clown-like in person. And to an extent, we're kind of conditioned. Like at this point now, like I remember when I first started seeing people wearing false eyelashes just around for like day wear, it was so extreme to me.
Oh my
I was
God,
like,
it's
what?
horrible.
What
Like
is
the
happening?
ones
Like,
that look
why are
like
we
big
doing this?
spiders.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
bad.
But now, like, it's been a trend for, you know, probably like 10 years. I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe around. So, like, now we're kind of like, oh, yeah, like, they're just wearing fake eyelashes. But to me, when I really stop to think about it, I always know that a person is wearing them. It always looks unnatural. I've accepted it as like, oh, yeah, that's like this unnatural thing that they're doing, like, to the point where I'm processing it without even really kind of realizing that I'm processing it. But you can always tell someone's wearing them. Now, I just like to think about, I don't know if I'm going off on too many tangents, but I just like to think about like how the human brain evolved to look at people. And like, this is another reason like I don't want to get Botox, because there's all these micro movements in your face when you talk with people. There's all these imperceptible things that your brain is interpreting without you realizing you're interpreting it. And I would imagine that for like face proportions and things like that, your brain has evolved to interpret things a certain way. And there's got to be like mini short circuits in your brain that aren't hindering your ability to interact with somebody. But I think like you're also not picking up on cues that you evolved to pick up on. So like, for example, I recently decided to like never ever wear blush again. The reason why, because I think having permanent, like the flushing of your cheek actually communicates something. So it can communicate embarrassment. It can also communicate like sexual desire. It can communicate a lot of different things when your cheeks flush. But when you're looking at somebody and their cheeks are like permanently flushed because they've put this fake blush on top, no, it's not interfering with your ability to have an interaction with that person. But you also don't get to tap into all of those fun evolutionary, like, I don't want to say tics, but like clues, methods of communication, things that your brain is primed to receive. You don't get to receive any of it. And so, I don't know, sometimes I like, when I'm feeling weak, or the algorithm has targeted me in such a way that like it makes me want to purchase something. I just think about like where we came from, the path that our ancestors trod before us, and like how important that is to the quality of my experience as a human being when I'm talking with other people and I'm interacting with other people. And makeup pretty much goes against all of that. So yeah, I don't like a
That's
source of inspiration
interesting.
for me.
Yeah. No,
super interesting take. for
I've
sure.
I've never heard those points before, so that is really interesting.
Yeah.
Your brain is
I know,
interesting.
I'm like, wow, I'm like
Yeah.
super intrigued on how you view things. It's like I love like the thought process behind it too, and like pointing out those things is super cool. Well, I do want to shift gears a little bit just because we are running low on time, and I want to make sure that we cover some of the other things that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So we were talking about women's issues in jiu-jitsu. What do you think some of the biggest challenges that women are facing in jiu-jitsu right now?
Well, I know some of like the trendy things. And when I say trendy, I don't mean like flippant. I just mean the things that are being discussed most right now. I think that there's so much eagerness and ambition around seeing the professional world of grappling shift so that there's more representation of women in those arenas. And I'm excited to see that. First of all, it's exciting to just have enough competitors, like serious
Right.
competitors. Um, One of my old professors was Leica Vieira, and she is an old school, like first wave women in jiu-jitsu. She got her black belt in Brazil in the 90s.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And yeah,
Damn.
so she's really OG. Like if you know somebody who's OG, she's more OG than that. And she came to the US. I might make mistakes with some of these facts, but she came to the US somewhere around like 2000, 2001. Already a black belt. She'd already won some like world titles.
Oh my
And
god.
she called up, if I'm not mistaken, it was six people. But it could have been a different Gracie.
Mm-hmm.
She calls them up on the phone and goes, "Hey, I was wondering if I could, come by and like train at your school. My name is Leica, blah blah blah." And he or like, I don't know if he said it, but the school's response was, "We never heard of you, and women can't train here. Like we don't allow women on our mat." And to think that
Wow.
was the state of jiu-jitsu 25 years ago.
Not that long ago, huh?
It's not that long ago. It's like one generation ago. To see, like, sometimes when women are like, "Oh, we haven't come far enough," like, what are you talking about? There's been no progress. I just remember that story,
Exactly.
and, and I'm like, ladies, there has been progress. Now, you could argue that it should have never been that way, and I
Of
would agree with
course.
you. But I think we have to remember that America inherited this sport from a really like machista, pretty anti-women culture
Absolutely.
in Brazil. And so it came to us like that. And then it had to be like passed down through multiple generations of black belts to like dilute that out. And then a lot of the most successful, like champion competitive black belts had daughters.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who train, and I'm sure that forced them to, I mean, I don't know, but I would imagine it forced those men to confront a lot of the things that they secretly believed about women, and now their daughters are out there kicking ass. And
Mm-hmm.
so, it change never happens as fast as you want, but
Right.
there has been a lot of change. I think it's a mistake to not celebrate it, but I don't think that celebrating that change means like, okay, yeah, we're good, we're
Right. We're
done.
not there
Like,
yet.
yeah,
Mhm.
like let's keep grinding and working to get to where we want, which by the way includes more women continuing to sign up and train
Mhm.
like there's still a deficit overall of the amount of women who like are actually in schools training.
For
Right.
sure.
And
Yeah.
Definitely.
and anybody who's honestly practices jiu-jitsu will tell you, I have told other women before, like, yeah, it's not for every woman. I think jiu-jitsu caters to men's instinct a little bit more than women. Like, if I hadn't gone through that domestic violence situation, I wouldn't have ever been curious about jiu-jitsu.
Mhm.
Right.
I wasn't particularly thrilled my first no-gi class when I was so covered in other men's sweat that I just felt, like that wasn't a very gratifying experience. I can understand why women are like, what are we doing? Like,
Right.
this
Right.
this,
So
this
if you
isn't
could,
fun.
yeah. So if you could talk to those women or just women in general in jiu-jitsu, and you had one message to give to them, what would that be? Because you've really put the time in and kept grinding.
I haven't thought about that because again, I've had such a love-hate experience with it, and I have had some genuinely like terrible experiences with really bad professors. I would just say, whether you're gonna go or whether you're gonna stay, connect with like what you need for yourself. Just it's just you versus yourself out there. This is ultimately for you. It should be enhancing your life. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be easy, but you should feel that what you're gaining from it is ultimately, like a net gain.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to love jiu-jitsu more than you are loving it, and you're like habitually the only woman in your class, or maybe you don't vibe with the other women at your school,
Right.
there are so many like women's open mats and women's only events. It is worth going to those and meeting some jiu-jitsu friends. Like that's kind of a new thing that's been happening with me that really will like put some air under your wing, like some wind under your wings,
Mm-hmm.
and lift you up. And so like taking advantage of those events, there's a lot of them that are free. Just free women's open mat, like everybody welcome.
Those are really cool events to go to. I think those are fun.
Yeah, there's a place for everybody in the sport. I think that's the number one thing I would say right there is like there's a place for everybody. Everybody belongs to jiu-jitsu, but I do understand that it might take a little trial and error to figure out like where the best school is for you. I've heard a lot of women talk about professors that they're really trying to be a good student to that professor and gain their favor, but the professor really is like not interested in, I don't know, dude. There's some weird things that happen with professors.
Yeah.
Like rather than like hoping that your professor will come around or something, just like change schools. Like just go someplace else. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like you're the paying customer.
Yeah.
You're the one giving them your money.
Yeah.
So go take your business elsewhere. Like you deserve to be at a school that works for you.
Yeah, I feel like we could do a whole other pod about all of this shit. So we probably should. But where can our listeners and all of the grapplers out there, where can they find your products, your Instagram, if you want to plug all of your stuff right now?
Yeah, so the company is Mil Usos. It's Spanish. It means 1,000 uses. The website is milusosskincare.com. That's MILUSOS skincare.com. And then the Instagram is Mil Usos _skincare.
Love it. And we are super excited because drum roll. We are officially partnering with you. So we are so excited. We mentioned earlier how we've been using your products and how we love them. And we want to spread the word and get everybody else out there using them because 10 out of 10, 15 out of 10 recommend.
Honestly, you guys, give them a follow. Check out what they have to offer. I think the best part is there's not like an overwhelming catalog of products to choose from. It's just so like straightforward. Like here's your soap, here's your total cranarchy, get it all, and please try it, you guys.
Yeah, it's a product. We're super excited to partner with you because it's a product and a brand that we really do believe in.
100%.
And so we appreciate everything that you do. And I've loved this conversation. Yeah. And I really think we probably should plan a follow-up because I feel like we have so much to talk about.
Absolutely.
I am down. Just tell me when and where.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Becky.
We really, really appreciate it. And we will hopefully talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure. I had a lot of fun.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check us out on Instagram at Chokeholds and Chill Pod, or shoot us a message at chokeholdsandchillpod@gmail.com.